Okay, let's unpack this. Have you ever found yourself just swimming in a sea of information?
Oh, absolutely.
Articles piling up, research notes everywhere, facts, figures, but you're still left feeling like you've barely scratched the surface.
Mm-hmm. Drowning, almost.
Exactly. Or maybe you're just eager to sharpen your ability, to really dissect complex arguments or articulate your own ideas with crystal clarity.
Sure. Making sense of things.
Right, whether that's for your career, academic stuff, or just everyday life.
It's a core skill, really.
Well, today we're embarking on a deep dive into the very essence of what it means to think smart.
Yeah. What does that actually mean?
And this isn't just about accumulating more facts, mind you. It's about mastering the art of how we process those
The
facts,
processing, yes.
how we connect disparate pieces of information, and how we leverage those connections for, well, profound understanding and effective communication.
Right. Because in our hyper-connected, really fast-paced world, being truly well-informed, it goes beyond just knowing stuff.
It really does. It's about developing that discernment, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Identifying what's truly salient.
And grasping diverse viewpoints. Empathy, almost.
Yes. And the confidence to navigate ambiguity, articulate your stance with precision. This deep dive, it's designed to offer you a powerful shortcut, really, to cultivating this absolutely crucial skill.
Sounds good. A shortcut's always welcome.
Get ready for some genuine aha moments because we're going to challenge some fundamental assumptions.
But what, like the sound of that?
We'll uncover the surprising nature of claims, which, as you'll discover, are the very sort of atomic building blocks of our thoughts.
Claims, okay.
Then we'll explore how these individual ideas are meticulously linked together to construct powerful arguments, insightful explanations.
Building the structure.
And we'll even expose some of the subtle biases that can unconsciously, steer our reasoning.
The hidden pitfalls. Always good to be aware of those.
Beyond just understanding, we'll delve into practical strategies, researching, analyzing, meticulously planning your own thinking.
Making sure your ideas actually land.
Exactly, ensuring they resonate and land with undeniable impact. Let's truly get started.
Let's do it.
So, to kick things off, what exactly is smart thinking? Is it simply about having a vast repository of knowledge, being quick on your feet in a quiz show? Or is there something, I don't know, more profound, more systematic at its heart?
That's an excellent starting point, yeah. Because it cuts right to the core of what we're exploring. Smart thinking. Well, it isn't about being fundamentally different or possessing some innate, rare genius.
Right, it's not magic.
No, not at all. Instead, it's about refining and enhancing skills you already possess, often without even consciously realizing it.
Okay, so skills we already have.
Exactly. At its most fundamental level, smart thinking is about developing this acute ability to understand and explore the intricate relationships between the countless events, objects, and ideas that populate our world. You see, individual items, a solitary fact, a single observation, an isolated piece of data, they only gain their true significance when they're consciously connected to others.
Okay, so the connection is everything.
It is. It's like a single note in music. It only becomes a melody when played in relation to other notes.
That's a great analogy.
To really illustrate this, let's use a simple everyday analogy that I find incredibly helpful. Imagine you're holding an apple in one hand
Okay.
and an orange in the other. At first glance, they appear distinct, right?
Yeah.
Comprehensible maybe only in their own terms.
Sure, apple, orange, different things.
But smart thinking immediately propels us beyond these isolated observations. We start to forge connections like an apple is not an orange. Simple enough.
Right, basic distinction.
Or both are undeniably pieces of fruit. Now we're grouping them.
Finding common ground.
Precisely. Perhaps even, if I enjoy this orange, it's highly probable I'll generally find other oranges enjoyable too. That's reasoning about preference, about patterns.
Okay, projecting from experience.
This seemingly simple exercise, it demonstrates how reasoning allows us to transcend individual items and construct an interconnected understanding. Each piece gets its context, its significance, through its relationship to everything else.
So you're building a web of understanding, not just collecting beads on a string.
Exactly. Building a web, not collecting beads. I like that.
So what's truly fascinating here, then? You mentioned something counterintuitive.
Yes. What's fascinating, and maybe a bit counterintuitive for many, is that smart thinking pushes us beyond the traditional, often quite narrow focus on purely objective judgment and abstract truth. The stuff usually associated with formal logic.
Right, like mathematical proofs, A leads to B.
Exactly. And while formal logic is undeniably a powerful tool, smart thinking emphasizes that reasoning is always a communicative and, crucially, a deeply social act.
Social? How so?
Well, people engage in reasoning not in a vacuum, but for specific purposes.
Yeah.
Economic, political, personal, maybe just to persuade someone.
Okay, there's always a motive.
Pretty much. And here's the critical part. Their perspectives, shaped by this incredibly complex tapestry of factors like age, culture, social class, gender, personal experiences, inevitably and profoundly influence how they reason.
So who is doing the reasoning matters.
Immensely. It affects what they consider important, how they interpret information. Ignoring this deeply social dimension, well, it risks rendering our thinking ineffective.
Because you're missing the context.
You're missing the essential who is speaking, why they're speaking, and from what vantage point. It fundamentally challenges the very notion of purely abstract, detached thought.
That's a profound shift from just pure logic, isn't it? So it's not just what you know, but how you connect it, and maybe even who you're connecting it with.
Exactly. Both the audience and the perspectives embedded in the reasoning itself.
That truly reframes the entire exercise. But why is this skill so critically important in our daily lives? Why, dedicate a whole deep dive to it?
Right. Well, the implications are incredibly widespread.
Yes.
Deeply profound, actually. Smart thinking directly benefits virtually every facet of academic work.
Okay, like understanding concepts, writing better essays.
Precisely. It doesn't just help you memorize. It helps you truly understand complex subject matter, grasp underlying concepts more thoroughly. It lets you craft assignments that are genuinely reasoned, persuasive, intellectually robust.
So better grades, basically.
Well, yes, but more importantly, deeper understanding.
Uh-huh.
And its utility extends far beyond the classroom.
Into professional life.
Absolutely. A significant portion of what we do, regardless of the field, revolves around effective decision-making and communication.
Sure. Making choices, explaining things.
Leading a team, navigating an unfamiliar market, optimizing processes, solving complex problems.
Yeah.
You're constantly engaged in some form of reasoning. Smart thinking provides the framework for making not just good decisions, but better decisions.
And better communication, too, I imagine.
Definitely. Which, let's be honest, is the cornerstone of success in almost any field today. A well-reasoned proposal is far more likely to get approved than one based on, vague hunches.
Makes sense. It also helps you spot weaknesses.
Exquisitely. It sharpens your ability to identify gaps in your own knowledge or in the information presented to you.
Like knowing what you don't know.
Exactly. It helps you pinpoint the exact information you need, quickly understand its relevance, and critically recognize when you simply need more information to fully grasp a problem or arrive at a truly robust conclusion.
So you become more strategic in finding information.
It transforms you from a passive recipient into a proactive, strategic investigator. It's like an internal radar telling you when to dig deeper or maybe pivot your approach entirely.
That makes incredible sense. It sounds like a muscle you can train. Now, if reasoning is fundamentally about connecting ideas, what exactly are those ideas themselves? You mentioned claims, that term. It sounds a bit formal.
It can sound that way, yeah. But this is where it gets really interesting, and it's often a surprising revelation.
Okay, I'm ready.
A claim is essentially any statement that expresses a belief or a specific view about the way the world either is or, equally important, the way it should be.
Okay. Is or should be.
Now here's the crucial, almost counterintuitive part. Claims are not the opposite of facts.
Wait, what? Not the opposite of facts.
Nope. Nor does a claim magically become a fact once we've confirmed its truth. Analytically speaking, every single statement we consider a fact is, at its core, a claim.
So the sky is blue is a claim.
Analytically, yes.
Yeah.
It's simply a claim that is so widely, so clearly, and so overwhelmingly accepted as true that it seems different, almost self-evident in our daily lives.
Wow. Okay. Why does that distinction matter so much?
Because calling a fact a claim immediately empowers you to approach all information with a critical, inquisitive mindset.
Ah, so you question everything, even the facts.
You question its basis. It forces us to ask, who accepted this as true and why? What evidence supports this widely held belief? We're not just passively absorbing, we're actively interrogating, even when something seems undeniably true.
Especially important now with information flying everywhere.
Absolutely vital. It helps us understand that truth is often built on layers of consensus, observation, shared understanding, not some singular, immutable quality floating out there. It moves us from a simple true-false to a more nuanced supported-unsupported or accepted-disputed framework.
Okay, I get it. So what are the properties of these claims?
They possess several fundamental properties that are vital to grasp. First, there's an internal connection. A well-formed claim always links two or more ideas together.
Like your milk example.
Exactly. Drinking milk makes some people feel sick. Internally connects drinking milk and feeling sick. This internal link is foundational. It's the basis for how claims then link externally in reasoning.
Got it. What else?
Second, claims always include, either explicitly or implicitly, indicators of their scope and certainty.
Scope and certainty. Explain those.
Scope refers to how broadly the claim applies. Certainty denotes how probable its truth is considered. For instance, sometimes when I drink milk, I feel sick. I'd have a limited scope, right? Sometimes.
Okay, not always.
Compare that to whenever I eat cheese before sleeping, I have dreams. That suggests a much wider, more consistent scope whenever.
Almost like a personal law.
Kind of. And on the certainty spectrum, there is no way that humans can live in outer space expresses the highest certainty, absolute denial.
Very definite.
Whereas it is probable that humans will live in space indicates a lower, more speculative level of certainty. Recognizing these nuances sometimes, whenever, no way, probable, is crucial for evaluating reasoning.
So we need to pay attention to those little words.
Those qualifiers, modal verbs, adverbs, they tell you exactly how strongly an assertion is being made.
Okay. And the third property.
Third, claims can be broadly categorized as descriptive or value claims. Descriptive claims assert how things are or have been. This book is printed on white paper. Straightforward description.
Just stating a fact, a claim.
Exactly. Value claims, on the other hand, make judgments about how things should or should not be or what's good or bad. We should use less paper. That's a clear value claim.
An opinion about what's right.
Right. But here's the subtlety. Many seemingly descriptive claims can actually carry implicit value judgments, depending on context and cultural lens.
Like?
Fatty foods are bad for you. Sounds descriptive, but it inherently carries a negative value judgment about fat shaped by current health norms.
The hidden shouldn't. Okay.
Understanding this distinction and recognizing implicit values helps you see the underlying motivations.
Right. And finally, their function. Premises and conclusions.
Precisely. In the dynamic process of reasoning, claims function as either premises the reasons or evidence offered,
The support.
or conclusions the claim being argued for, the main point. Any claim can serve either role, depending entirely on how it's deployed in a specific argument.
So a conclusion in one argument could be a premise in another.
Absolutely. And conclusions themselves can predict the future, establish past truth, or appeal for action. Their role is always contextual.
So the idea that a fact is really just a super popular claim, that's quite a paradigm shift. It implies consensus, not just absolute truth. Fascinating. And understanding claim structure, implications, their role, that's clearly the foundational first step.
Absolutely. It's like learning the alphabet before writing a novel, as you said. Once we've got a handle on these building blocks, these nuanced claims, the next crucial step is linking them together.
Right, building the argument.
This is where the dynamic power of reasoning really comes alive, where isolated bits of info become coherent arguments and explanations.
And how do we see those links in the wild? When we're reading a dense report or listening to a speech, they're rarely, drawn out with arrows for us.
You're absolutely right. They're seldom neatly labeled. While claims themselves can be directly seen as statements, the linking process, the reasoning connecting one idea to another, is largely inferred by us, the audience.
We have to figure it out.
Mostly, yes. But we're not left completely adrift. We find what we call traces or signposts embedded within the language itself.
Oh, clue words.
Exactly. Specific words and phrases that signal how one claim relates to another. Think of common ones like this means that, because, therefore, since, as a result, consequently, in light of.
Okay, the classic connectors.
For instance, John has passed his final exams. This means that he is a fully qualified lawyer. That phrase, this means that, clearly signals the conclusion follows from the first sentence.
Got it. It guides you.
It's a verbal cue guiding you to the intended logical connection. These are the threads holding arguments together.
Okay. Now, you mentioned analytical structure versus narrative flow.
Yes, a critical aspect of smart thinking involves this mental translation. We usually encounter reasoning in narrative flow. Sentences, paragraphs, flowing like a story or an essay.
The normal way we read and write.
Right. Great for engagement, persuasion, a smooth read. But for deeper understanding, and especially for planning your own reasoning, Smart thinkers convert this narrative flow into an analytical structure.
What does that look like?
It's much more precise. Usually a clear, numbered list of individual claims,
Okay, breaking it down.
followed by a diagram or visual showing the exact logical relationships. It strips away all the conversational shorthand pronouns, implied links, stylistic stuff, filler.
Just the bare bones logic.
Exactly. It clearly shows how premises lead to conclusions without ambiguity.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Let's take that car exhaust example. In narrative flow, it might be, all motor cars should be fitted with devices that reduce pollution from their exhausts. My reasoning, car exhaust emissions are a huge cause of air pollution, and if we want to improve the environment, we should focus on major pollution sources.
Okay, sounds like a reasonable argument.
Now let's cast it into its analytical structure. We list the claims. 1. All motor cars should be fitted with devices that reduce exhaust pollution. That's the conclusion.
Right, the main point.
2. Car exhaust emissions are one of the most significant causes of air pollution. A premise.
Yes.
3. If we are going to tackle environmental problems, we should concentrate on major causes of pollution. Another premise, more of a principle.
Okay.
Linking principle.
And then the diagram would visually show premises 2 and 3, linking together maybe with a plus sign or bracket, pointing directly with an arrow to conclusion 1.
Ah, I see. Very clear.
This whole process of recovering that structure is called casting. Identifying link signals, marking claims, diagramming relationships.
So it's like reverse engineering the argument.
Exactly. If we connect this to the bigger picture, casting helps us see the skeleton of an argument, separate from the flesh of the words. It's an incredibly powerful diagnostic tool.
For understanding others and improving your own thinking.
Even more importantly, for improving your own, stress testing it before you present it.
So we've learned about claims, the building blocks, and now how to map the links. That's a huge leap. But just having claims and links isn't enough, is it? How do we ensure our reasoning is good, robust, persuasive,
Right.
not flimsy?
Exactly. How do we avoid those weak arguments we see everywhere?
That's precisely the million-dollar question. And it's where smart thinking really shines. Making reasoning genuinely effective involves several crucial interconnected steps, all focused on meticulously forming and robustly supporting your claims.
Okay, what are these steps?
The first, often overlooked step is ensuring you have well-formed claims.
Meaning they're clear.
Exactly. Articulated with such precision and clarity that their truth or reasonableness can be objectively evaluated. A poorly formed claim, even if the underlying idea is true, can't be properly judged because it's ambiguous.
Like trying to hit a moving target in the dark.
Perfect analogy. Which brings us to context and connotation. Word meanings aren't absolute. They're shaped by social and cultural forces.
Right. Words can mean different things to different people. Precisely. While dictionary meanings are usually shared, the connotations, the hidden implications, emotional associations can vary dramatically. Think about the word democracy.
Okay. Means different things in different places.
Massively different things, potentially, in Cuba versus the USA, even if their stated definitions are similar. Their underlying assumptions about the state, economy, individual rights, they infuse the word with different connotations.
So a well-formed claim anticipates this.
It strives for clarity across contexts, ensuring the message lands as intended. Precise enough to be understood, not just heard.
Okay. Well-formed. What's next?
Claims also need to be well-founded. Their truth or validity shouldn't be easily questioned by your audience.
So they need strong support.
Every claim, even a premise, needs compelling reasons for an audience to accept it. How can they accept your conclusion if they don't accept the premises supporting it?
Like a building with a shaky foundation.
Exactly. It'll crumble.
Yeah.
Now, very few claims are truly logically self-evident. Like, either you're pregnant or you're not. That's rare.
Okay. Most things aren't that black and white.
Much more commonly, claims that aren't logically self-evident are treated as such due to common practice or widespread acceptance. Like, the Earth orbits the sun for most adults.
We just accept it.
Right. But a young child might need proof. So a smart thinker understands their audience's assumptions about self-evidence and decides when to provide more support.
Knowing your audience again.
Crucial. A common way to found claims is by appealing to authority, referencing experts, credible sources, research.
Citing your sources.
Yes, but it's more than just showing where you got it. It's leveraging the credibility of others to support your claim's truthfulness. Citing a respected historian for a historical claim, for instance.
Makes sense. But you have to choose your authorities wisely.
Absolutely. That raises an important point. Knowing when not to argue explicitly, but to rely on accepted authority, is part of thinking smart. But you must critically evaluate that authority first. Is the expert impartial, relevant, peer-reviewed? Blind appeals are dangerous.
Got it. So, well-formed, well-founded. What else makes reasoning effective?
Depth of reasoning. Especially when a single reason actually represents many complex ideas. It often requires more than one premise. These are dependent premises.
Working together.
Yes, as a group, to provide a single, complex, multifaceted reason. Let's unpack that free university example.
Okay. Conclusion. Uni should be free. Reason benefits the economy.
Right. That single reason needs unpacking. You might need dependent premises like a well-educated population is more productive. Then higher productivity benefits the national economy. Then maybe, if a policy yields economic benefits, government should support it.
Connecting the dots.
And further, the most effective way for government to encourage this is free access. You might even define well-educated in this context requires university. This unpacking adds depth, shows thorough understanding.
Okay, depth through dependent premises. Makes sense.
What about relevance?
What?
Crucial. Relevance. Premises must genuinely support the conclusion. If a premise is true, it should make the conclusion more likely, more understandable.
Obvious, but important.
Consider the conclusion. Smith is physically unhealthy. Premises about chest pains, coughing, shortness of breath. Clearly relevant.
Sure, signs of illness.
Premises about his green trousers and pink hat. Utterly irrelevant, unless the conclusion was about his fashion sense.
Right. Relevance depends on the conclusion.
Exactly. And sometimes, if the link isn't obvious, you need a framing premise, a claim that explicitly bridges the gap.
Like?
To link, Australian universities attract many overseas students to Australian universities are high quality, you might need the framing premise. Overseas students generally seek high-quality universities. It makes the relevance explicit.
Gotcha. What about covering all bases?
That's breadth of reasoning. For complex issues, effective arguments need a broad range of distinct reasons. This isn't just piling on points. It's building a comprehensive case that anticipates and counters likely objections in advance.
So hitting it from multiple angles.
Precisely. Arguing Australia's immigration rate is too low. You might need reasons covering economics, culture, diplomacy, even defense, to be truly comprehensive and address different perspectives.
Makes the argument more resilient.
It does. This also ties into the burden of proof. How much support is needed for the conclusion to be acceptable in this context?
Like court cases, criminal versus civil?
Exactly. Beyond reasonable doubt versus balance of probabilities. Some arguments need more compelling evidence. Smart thinkers gauge this expectation.
Okay. And finally,
justifying all aspects of the conclusion. A conclusion is complex ideas, scope, certainty, values. Effective reasoning addresses each aspect.
so being thorough about the conclusion itself.
Yes. Explaining most people do not understand that late capitalism will never sustain unemployment below 5% requires explaining why most people, what is late capitalism, why 5%, etc. This ensures thoroughness, acknowledges implicit connotations, leaves no stone unturned.
Wow. That's a truly comprehensive blueprint for building a compelling case. It's like being an architect of ideas. Given all this, are there different flavors of reasoning, different ways our minds connect these claims?
Absolutely. It's not one size fits all. Understanding these types helps you identify the underlying structure of arguments and the questions they're trying to answer. They often blend, but distinguishing them is a valuable analytical tool.
Okay, what are some key types?
The most fundamental distinction is between deductive and inductive reasoning.
Heard those terms before. Deduction.
Deductive moves from general premises to a specific conclusion. If the premises are true, the conclusion must be true. It's a certainty. The conclusion is kind of already contained within the premises.
Like your voting example. Under 18 can't vote, therefore I can't vote.
Exactly. Given the premises, the conclusion is logically necessary.
And inductive.
Inductive reasoning gathers specific evidence or observations to make a prediction, form a hypothesis, or estimate the most likely conclusion. The conclusion often goes beyond what's explicitly stated in the premises.
More like probabilities.
Yes. Think of a criminal investigation. You gather evidence suggesting Mr. Black is the murderer. You can't be 100% deductively certain, but you build a case beyond a reasonable doubt. It's about likelihood, not necessity. Much of science and daily life works this way.
Okay, deduction for certainty, induction for probability. What else?
Then there's propositional logic, off of that if structure. It's a powerful deductive form establishing a conditional relationship. If consumption falls, then the economy will slow down.
How is that useful?
It helps identify key sub-conclusions that need support in a larger argument, like building a chain. If we improve public transport, then more people will use it. If more people use it, then congestion will reduce. If congestion reduces, then air quality improves. Each if then connects the dots logically.
Building a strong chain, I see. Are there other common types?
Yes, we can identify 5 common types, though remember they often overlap. First, reasoning from cause.
Cause and effect.
Right, showing how one event leads to another. You might look for the only difference between situations, or the only similarity in multiple occurrences to pinpoint a cause, like linking union exclusion to wage decline.
Or necessary versus sufficient causes, like oxygen for fire versus a match.
Exactly. Understanding those causal links is key. Second, reasoning from generalization.
Applying a general rule to a specific case.
Yes, all immunized children are protected. Stephen is immunized, therefore Stephen is protected. Works if the specific case truly fits the general class.
Okay.
Third, the inverse. Reasoning from specific cases to a general conclusion. Surveying 1,000 diverse Australians to conclude most Australians favor a republic.
But the sample has to be representative.
Absolutely critical. Avoid sweeping generalizations from tiny or biased samples like judging all Italian food from one bad meal.
Right. Fourth type.
Reasoning from analogy. Drawing a conclusion about one case by comparing it to a similar one. Strength depends on the relevance of the similarities.
Like the rabbits and guinea pigs eating carrots example.
Yes. Similar digestive systems make the analogy relevant, but you avoid irrelevant similarities, like comparing shaving cream and whipped cream based on texture to discuss taste.
Got it. And the fifth?
Reasoning from terms, which is often definitional and deductive, establishes the meaning or scope of a word or phrase for the argument.
Like defining cigarette smoke to include passive smoke?
Precisely. Then arguing the effects are similar based on that definition. It clarifies terms to ensure everyone's on the same page.
That's truly insightful. A whole toolbox of reasoning types, each with its place. So whether we're convincing someone, testing a hypothesis, or just trying to understand something, it all comes back to this structured analytical thinking. How does this connect to research? Is research just gathering facts?
You've hit on a crucial point many misunderstands. Research is not just passively finding facts. It's an integral, analytical, dynamic part of reasoning itself.
So research is reasoning.
They're deeply intertwined through analysis, the continuous process of asking questions to think through, test, and establish connections between claims. Questions are powerful. Think of them as conclusions in prospect, tentative claims waiting to be tested.
So questions drive the research.
Exactly. Precise questions define your topic, guide your search for relevant information. They tell you what to consider, what to exclude, which bodies of knowledge to draw on, what methods to use. Without good questions, research becomes aimless data gathering.
Makes sense. You also mentioned understanding information based on where we find it.
Yes. Information understood by source location. Different source types imply different values and reliability.
Like conferences versus journals versus magazines.
Precisely. Academic conferences, latest research, often specific, very recent, maybe preliminary, journals, academic audience, peer-reviewed, in-depth, part of a scholarly conversation, popular magazines, general audience, simplified, often sacrifice detail for strong themes.
So you need to know the source's purpose and audience.
Absolutely. Understanding the mode of production, intended audience, manner of publication helps assess reliability and bias. A blog post isn't a peer-reviewed paper, even on the same topic.
Right. And information relates to other information.
Critical reading involves actively looking for information as it relates to other information. This guides further searching. For example, relations of specific and general. Are these successful e-commerce examples representative of a general trend?
Or similarity and difference.
Okay.
How does Australian internet use compared to past years or other countries? What about contradictory conclusions on censorship? Why do they differ?
Exactly. Or cause and effect. Why do virtual communities fail? Maybe lack of shared activities beyond online presence is the cause. It's about connecting the dots, not just collecting them.
We can also classify info by how we'll use it.
Yes. Information based on how you will use it. 4 main types guide your reasoning. 1, general context, understanding the topic boundaries, different angles, setting the stage.
Okay.
2, other people's opinions, conclusions, what have others argued, positioning your ideas. 3, basic details evidence, the raw material for your premises, data, stats, accounts.
The foundation.
4, values and attitudes, Understanding the implied values and assumptions of authors and yourself to interpret the reasoning, reading between the lines.
Recognizing worldview. Got it. And direct versus indirect sources?
Vital distinction. Direct primary sources are first-hand info, experiments, interviews, original records. They still have interpretation, but they're original evidence.
Broad data.
Indirect secondary sources are reports, analyses of direct info by others, academic books, articles. Key is understanding the context in which they were produced.
So a TV show on advertising might not be a reliable commentary on advertising trends.
But it could be a valuable direct source for understanding popular views on advertising. It depends on how you use it and what question you're asking.
So it's about being an active interrogator of information, constantly probing sources, not just passively consuming, like a detective. That's where it gets really interesting.
Precisely. Transforms reading into an intellectual treasure hunt, as you say. And ultimately, all these skills, understanding claims, links, types of reasoning research, they culminate in consciously planning and creating your own robust reasoning.
Right. Putting it all together for ourselves.
Whether it's a report, essay, presentation, even just a well-structured email, all the previous steps feed into this final critical phase of intellectual production.
So if we're about to create our own argument, what are the key questions we should ask ourselves before we start writing?
That proactive self-assessment is essential. Start by analyzing the external dimensions, the broader context. It's a three-way relationship. You, the author, your audience, and the body of knowledge you're engaging with. Ask yourself,
Okay, what specifically?
why am I reasoning? Purpose. To convince, explain, explore.
Got it. Purpose first.
For whom am I reasoning? Audience. Their knowledge, expectations, assumptions. Remember, knowledge is intrasubjective, created between people.
Know your audience again. Crucial.
In what situation? Formal paper, casual discussion, public speech. The medium matters.
Context of the communication.
According to what methods, definitions, understandings? Are there disciplinary conventions or ethical guidelines?
Rules of the game.
What is expected of me? Neutrality, persuasion, objectivity. Unstated rules.
Okay. Thinking about the whole environment.
Let me give you that HIV prevention example again to really highlight context. Discussing it with a Western health expert versus a conservative Islamic community leader.
Right. They might agree on the basic facts of HIV.
But their underlying assumptions about individual autonomy versus communal values, social freedom versus religious guidelines, they lead to vastly different prevention strategies.
Condom campaigns versus abstinence and family focus?
Exactly. Effective reasoning demands acknowledging these different frameworks before arguing specifics. Fail to do that, and your reasoning, however sound factually, likely falls flat.
Okay, external context is huge. Then we look inward.
Yes. Then turn the analytical lens inward to the internal dimensions of your reasoning. Scrutinize the core elements.
Starting with the conclusion.
Absolutely. Relentlessly focus on your conclusion. What's its precise statement? Its elements, word meanings, ideas, values, scope, certainty. Is it about the present, future, past? Argument or explanation needed? How does it relate to existing views? Is it well-formed? What evidence does it need? Are there multiple conclusions? Is it about an event or about how others talk about the event? Precision here gives you a clear target.
Okay, nail the conclusion, then the premises.
Meticulously examine your premises. Relevant, well-formed, well-founded. Do they provide depth and breadth? Any implied premises needing to be explicit? Do they cover all aspects of the conclusion? Logically grouped.
Checking the foundations thoroughly.
And third, consider the types of reasoning. Causal, analogical generalization, specific cases, definitional. What underpins the connections? Is it the most effective type for this link? Being conscious of this helps spot weaknesses.
Okay. This rigorous questioning leads to planning.
Yes, the immense power of planning. That analytical structured list of claims, diagram of relationships, is ideal for planning.
Why that structure specifically?
Because it forces focus purely on the reasoning, stripping away prose distractions. You can check, revise, stress test the logic before writing narrative. It's a crucial checkpoint for evaluating strengths, weaknesses, gaps.
How does it differ from, say, mind mapping or an outline?
Good question. Mind mapping is great for brainstorming, nonlinear connections, creative flow. A narrative sequence plan, outline TOC, organizes ideas for final presentation, smooth flow. The analytical structure is distinct. It focuses only on the logical scaffolding, the intellectual connections, ensuring the blueprint of your thought is sound.
The underlying architecture.
Exactly, upon which everything else is built.
So what does this all mean for us, the listeners? It seems smart thinking isn't just techniques, but a blend of careful analysis, strategic planning, and deep awareness of context, our own and our audience's, building a mental framework.
That's a great way to put it.
What an incredible journey we've taken. We've meticulously unpacked the core components of smart thinking, from the humble claim,
Recognizing its surprising nature.
all the way to the grand architecture of complex arguments. We explored claims versus facts, the importance of links, the different ways our minds build compelling cases.
Yeah, it's been quite a deep dive.
And most importantly, we've come to see that smart thinking is far more than just a skill set. It is, at its heart, a profound attitude.
Absolutely. An attitude. It's about cultivating an insatiable keenness to think things through, to constantly critically question assumptions your own and others,
To connect disparate ideas.
and to tirelessly refine your understanding with an open and discerning mind. This empowered approach fundamentally transforms your ability to navigate information.
Understand different viewpoints.
And crucially, articulate your own nuanced ideas with clarity and confidence.
It's about being thoughtful, considering issues in depth and breadth, being rigorously critical, always asking why and how do we know.
And being smart about relating your reasoning to diverse contexts.
Recognizing that knowledge and reasoning are two sides of the same coin. Understanding links between things. No idea exists in isolation.
Yell said.
We sincerely hope this deep dive has equipped you with some truly powerful tools for your own continuous journey of intellectual discovery.
Keep questioning, keep connecting.
If you found this deep dive valuable and enriching, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us continue these explorations into what it truly means to be well-informed.
Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for joining us, and keep thinking smart.